do we do when God don't tell us what we want to hear? Maybe I need to go back to God. I don't know if I heard God. You heard it. And so he tells the people, God said no. They go back and they tell the king. He sends them back. No, tell him I'm giving all my palace and all this stuff. Doesn't that remind you of when Jesus was led up in the wilderness to be tempted by the enemy? How he made all these promises of stuff to try to get Jesus to negate his purpose. That's what he does. The eyes, the pride of the, what is it? The lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and the lust of the flesh will get you in trouble. They came back again with more promises of stuff. And he goes back to God, and God says, okay, let me play this out. Go with him. God was angry at Balaam because his heart wasn't right. His heart got greedy. And he started getting into idolatry to worship the stuff. I want the stuff, but if I can just pretend like I'm seeking God on, maybe I can have my cake and eat it too. So they start on this long journey, Balaam with his donkey. As they are traveling, the Lord oftentimes, I don't know how he continuously does it, but he saves us from ourselves. He goes to great lengths to save us from ourselves. So the angel of the Lord came. And the angel of the Lord standing on the road with his sword drawn. And the donkey recognized him and saw him. The sorcerer didn't have a clue. So when the donkey saw the Spirit of the Lord, the angel of the Lord, he jumped off that street into a field. Balaam beat the donkey. I wonder what's going on with him. So he pulls the donkey back on the street. The angel of the Lord goes a little further. And he's standing beside a wine-press wall. And the donkey saw him, and he thought he could go around and get through that little space, and he crushed Balaam's foot. Balaam hit him again, you know. He sat down, and this really made Balaam mad. He beat him with that rod, and the Lord no worship, no reading the word. You don't have a clue. And a donkey, a dumb obey him. He had said sometimes he would send strong deception. And that donkey, and what really got me is that Balaam didn't think something was funny about the donkey talking. He's having a conversation answering the donkey's question. Duh, how far was he from the Lord? And the Spirit of the Lord said to him, why did you beat the donkey? The donkey saved your life. I had my sword drawn and I would have killed you. Yeah, not your donkey, and let this donkey live. God is calling us to a different place and time. But the long of the story and the short of it is God had told Balaam that you're going, but you'll only be able to speak what I give you. Those people are blessed. You can't curse them. But sometimes we don't even believe God. He's going to go and greed. He was blinded. And when he opened his mouth to curse God's people, the blessings of the Lord came out. Yes. And just like the devil, nothing is new. He said, well, let's go to another place and let me show you these Israelites. Maybe you can curse them. 3 times, just like with Jesus in the wilderness, 3 times. 3 times he blessed them. And then God said, I got a word for the boy. I got a word for faith. A rock. I'm going to tell you what his demise and destruction is going to be. Now you run tell that. And he used the same voice that they had solicited to curse his people, to bring a curse and destruction upon them. That's making his enemies your footstool, which he said he would do. And so I just want to encourage y'all. I'm going to give a short testimony because it truly blessed me and it really showed me the faithfulness of God. When we had that first ice storm, my sister and I were on our way to work, and the Lord emphatically said, when we got on the highway driving this lane, the middle lane, I heard it and I started out obeying it. And there was the morning traffic, and in the middle of that traffic, something started happening. So I said, I'm just going to be, that's when we let our natural mind negate what our spirit has already told us. I'm just going to move over and get around this. And I wondered, Holy Spirit said, what did I tell you? I got back in that middle lane, and I started having a discussion about how sharp my ears are, that I'm hearing the Lord the minute he speaks, because we've been on the fast, and it just really purposed in my heart to hear him. He said, the minute you hear my voice, harden not your heart. So I brought my sister downtown and I pulled south on 35. There was a truck in front of me, and it fishtailed. And you know, it was black ice on the road, and here go my natural mind said, well, look like he's going to have an accident. See how the devil comes. He said, why don't you just move and go around here so you won't be in an accident? It sounded like a reasonable plan, but it wasn't the word of the Lord. So I moved over to the left, and I wasn't over there a minute, and I hit a pack of black ice. I'm in a 4-runner. The truck turned and hit the median, and it threw me in traffic. I said, Lord, help me. Lord, help me. And about that time, I was in my mind, I'm surmising at least 5 or 10, 6 cars are going to hit me because I've come all the way across traffic, but I closed my eyes. And when I said, Lord, help me twice, the peace of God immediately encapsulated me in that truck. And I remember thinking in my spirit, Lord, if this is, so be it. I was not afraid. In the middle of the storm, God met me. They took me, to emergency and all this stuff. My truck was totaled and I don't have a scratch. I didn't get a scratch. But I learned a valuable lesson. And God said, you heard me when I said what I told you. I told you that to keep you from getting into this. Did you forget I was already at this place? Did you forget that what you reason should not negate my word? You went from obedience to rebellion. And that was the price of rebellion. He said, but I'm going to work it out for you good because you remember me. He said, I'm as nice as you called me. And I called on him too. He said, you called me. I was there. That's that peace you felt. And not another car hit me. And even with that, my truck was not immobilized. I was able to get it off the street, drive it off the street, and come out without a scratch. But God is serious about obedience. And there are consequences to not being obedient. So I want to encourage y'all. I think what happened here today, and I'd really like to just thank my sisters that obey the word of the Lord. And God has been trying to get us to a place of being still and listening. And this was a quiet, being still and listening and receiving what God has for us. So whatever happens from this point, I'm full. I